Change that.
And welcome to Just for Clicks, guys. I am Michael Buckosh with my host, Mike LeBlanc. Mike, how was your weekend, my man?
Man, I had a great weekend, honestly. It was a nice, chill, relaxed weekend. Didn't do anything too crazy, except for last night. I got a little tipsy. We knocked some beers back and some whiskey sitting out in the backyard, but nothing too crazy. It's always a good day when you get to hang out with the fam.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree much more. I was traveling for the last week or so, and of course, I'm finally back in my home. I feel more comfortable. No more green screen stuff because I didn't want you guys to know where I was at, so I was trying to hide it. But nonetheless, guys. So Mike, for the people that are new here, guys, if you have not liked our Facebook page, go over to the Facebook page Just for Clicks. Go ahead and like that Facebook page. Follow us on YouTube as well. We do some pre-show banter over there. If you guys are interested in getting to know us a little bit better and whatnot, go ahead and head over to that YouTube channel and check us out. Also, if you are interested in supporting the podcast as well, head over to rtfsportsnetwork.com, click on Just for Clicks, guys, and there's a support button down there as well. You can support us. But Mike, as always, you know, we like to get our fans get a chance to know us and whatnot. And for people that don't know me personally, I just had my second son with my lovely wife, and you know we want to work off some baby weight now. So, Mike, lately we've been kind of going on walks each night, about a mile and a half. And I don't know how you were raised, but where I was raised, like the man always walks on the outside of your kids and your wife. So if a car decides to be stupid, it hits you and not the wife and kids, right?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so, well, me and my wife lately have been kind of on this power struggle, and I don't know if it's her like want to be independent or be the man of the house or like what, but she wants to walk on the side of the street, and quite frankly, Mike, is starting to really upset me. And
maybe she wants to wear the pants in the family.
If she wants to wear the pants in the family, just say so, and I'll happily take a back seat. But you just
this is what you tell her. You'd be like, babe, you want to wear the pants? That's fine. But I need you to understand something. I will always zip them up.
She will always zip up the pants. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like there are certain things that you were raised to, you know, shake with your right hand, nice firm hand, like handshake. When you're talking to somebody, look them in the eyes. You know, don't be shy
Always.
and look at your feet. And the women always walk on the inside. That is just the way it is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my wife. Luckily I don't have to deal with that. My wife's happy to let me walk on the outside closest to the street because she's like, you know, you're worth more dead than you are alive. So I will gladly let you walk on the
Army life,
outside.
right?
Yeah.
Hashtag Army life. But let's go ahead and get into today's show, man.
Man. What is on Mike's mind? So what's on my mind today? Bird is the word, right? I know you're looking and you're listening. And you're like, what the hell? Bird is the word. So check it out. The Cowboys, for the first time since 1992, play all the opponents with a bird as their mascot. And this, like I said, this hasn't happened since 1992, guys. And we always say history repeats itself. What happened in 1992? Cowboys went to the Super Bowl, right? So we're going to call this the Bird Gauntlet. Can the Cowboys go through this gauntlet and beat every team with a bird as their mascot? I know it sounds crazy, but since the Cowboys did it in 1992, no other team has been able to do it since. So hopefully history repeats itself. Again, you all know my feelings on Dak Prescott. I don't think he's going to be able to get the job done, but we will see. I'm sure they thought the same thing about Troy Aikman when he came into the league, and just so, I mean, it's kind of out of order, right? But did we get that missing piece with CeeDee Lamb? We'll see. So who knows? Bird is the word. We'll see.
All right, guys, and welcome back to Just for Clicks. That was Mike and what was on Mike's mind. And, you know, I never really thought about looking at mascots as like opponents, you know, like I always think of like Arizona or New York or,
right.
or Seattle. And that was a very interesting fact. I did not realize that. But the 92 was probably, I would say, one of the best Cowboys teams ever, possibly.
Yeah, ever. I mean, you got to think this was when Arizona was in the NFC. Right now, they're no longer in the NFC anymore.
Yeah, so but
it's going to be interesting to see if the Cowboys can run the gauntlet.
Yeah. So speaking of being interesting here, we are here tonight to break down the 2020 Indianapolis Colts. But before we get into the heart of the schedule and like whatnot, let's talk about some of their draft picks that they picked up here. So like if you guys were living under a rock here, about a month ago, the draft happened. And I think the Indianapolis Colts probably had one of the best drafts that they've had in recent memory.
Yeah, no, 100%. So Pro Football Focus has the Indianapolis Colts draft as ranked fifth in the value, meaning that, you know, they had the fifth best draft out of all of the teams. And I would have to agree. I mean, look, their first one, Michael Pittman from USC, an amazing wide receiver. I think he's going to be able to help
T.Y. Hilton.
Not only is he going to help T.Y. Hilton, but he'll be able to help Phillip Rivers, give him another target to throw to. And, you know, Pittman and Hilton, could that be a really good duo for Phillip Rivers? So I'm really interested in to see how this season plays along with Phillip Rivers, because I want to know, was Phillip Rivers the issue in San Diego or not?
Yeah, that is going to be one of the biggest questions that as Colts fan have in general, or I mean even as football fans in general, because you've seen these Chargers just a couple years ago. They went 13-3. The reason why they were as 50 going into the playoffs because they ran into the Kansas City Chiefs. Where did they come from? Like that same year, the Chiefs were 13-3 as well, but they had the tiebreaker head to head. So. Yeah, if you have listened to Chargers fans or Charger coaching staff, they said they're going to open up the offense now. So that kind of tells me that Phillip Rivers doesn't have the arm strength to do that, or I mean, like I don't know. I mean that is tough saying.
It comes down to the eye test, right? Like we always talk about with the eye test, right? Stats are stats, and that's great.
Numbers lie.
Numbers lie. It comes down to the eye test. The eye test tells me that Phillip Rivers still has that arm strength to push the ball down the field. I saw it, you know, a lot last season and the seasons before. I'm really curious to see how this Colts season goes, because now they've given Phillip Rivers a run game. What happened last time when you gave Phillip Rivers a run game?
13-3 from what I can see, but I mean they really never made it past the first round of the playoffs. So I mean that's what I'm saying.
But it gave them more of a winning chance, right? You gave Rivers a young, hungry LaDainian Tomlinson, and now you're giving him a young, hungry Jonathan Taylor, who last season rushed for 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, and he was a Doak Walker Award winner.
Yeah, and you are forgetting that the fact that they still have Mac on that roster too.
Yeah, and
Mac when he's healthy, he is probably a top 10 back in the NFL easy. Like a guy, I think you could easily put the team on his back. And,
it's definitely going to be interesting. And then they got Julian Blackmon in round 3. Now the only thing that sucks with this guy, and I think this was a steal for for the Colts as long as he pans out, right? Like with the Cowboys when they got what's his name? I'm a Cowboys fan. I can't even think of his name. The linebacker for the Cowboys.
Vandrish?
No, the other one.
This year's draft?
Yeah, Smith. Jalen Smith. There we go. So we drafted Jalen Smith in the second round with knowing that he was not going to be able to play because he had a dislocated knee and he had no feeling in his knee and all that. Right. So Julian Blackmon tore his ACL during the Pac-12 championship game. So he's not going to be ready till, the end of September, beginning of October. But this could be like one of the biggest steals in the draft if he pans out and he can come back healthy from that ACL tear. He was slated to be a number 1 round draft pick or second round draft pick.
Right.
And they were able to steal, and that was before he tore his ACL. So they got him in the third round. We'll see if it pans out. And then I think the best move in the draft that they did was getting Eason.
Well, let me go ahead and back up to Julian Blackmon just a tad bit here. He was a first round projected pick, before the injury, and you guys have to understand here that the Colts defense was already stout as is. They were easily the best defense in their division, I think, over the Titans, over the Houston Texans, and who else is in their division? Slipping my mind right now, Jacksonville. But I mean, easily the best defense in that division, and they are quite arguably a top 10 defense in the whole NFL. So to add a talent like Julian Blackmon to their already stout defense, that just makes you that much more powerful on that side of the ball. And you very, very rarely see bust on the defensive side of the ball. If you want must picks that are going to pan out in the NFL, defense is the way to go, because it is an easy transition from high school to college to the NFL, because it is a read and react, that type of thing. Instincts always take over on the defensive side of the ball. So
yeah, I mean, and we'll hold on, we'll stay with that for a little bit, right? So Texas played Utah in the Alamo Bowl, and Texas beat them soundly.
It was pretty ugly. Let's be honest.
It was 38-10, right?
Yeah.
But if Blackmon is on the field, is that a difference maker? Does that turn the game around? Because Texas torched them through the air that game.
You are correct. Texas did torch them through the air without Blackmon on the on the field, but Blackmon. You can only lock down one half of the field if you're a corner or a safety. And it's very hard for you to lock down the whole secondary by any means. Even if you are a free safety playing like a cover two, I mean it is still ridiculously hard to cover the whole whole field.
But that safety also helps with the run game too, and Keontae Ingram kind of went off on Utah for 108 yards in that game. And, he had quite a bit of tackles, and I think he had like 4 or 5 tackles for losses last season. So I think you miss a player like that in the passing game, and you still miss him in the run game.
Yeah, you are 100% correct, but I still think Texas still wins that game. I mean, it's definitely not 35-10 by any means, but it's like 21-10. Or maybe even, that type of score. Like the score-wise, they'll still be a little bit closer, I think. But to say Utah would win that game by having a defensive player on the field, that's kind of tough saying.
No, I don't think it is. Let's go back to Baltimore Ravens when they won the Ray Lewis's last season. Right. If Ray Lewis isn't on the field, do the Ravens win that championship?
Yes, because Ray Lewis was probably on the field only for 50% of the snaps.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If you go back and watch that playoff run on some of the most pivotal points in the game, when the camera's panning the sideline and stuff, you see Ray Lewis on the sideline.
Okay, let me give you another example then. Are the 49ers defense just as dominant without Joey Bosa?
Without Joey Bosa, no, because
there's one player though.
Because a defensive lineman is different than a safety.
I get it. I get
a
it.
defensive lineman can quite arguably make a sack every play. A safety can't get an interception every play.
Not every play, but to say one defensive player off of the field can't turn an outcome and can't, determine the outcome of a game. Thing is,
I will agree with you to the point that he could determine the outcome of the game. But the Texas-Utah State game, was it Utah? Yeah, the Texas-Utah game.
Yep.
He would have not changed that outcome of that game. It just everything was rolling right for your Texas Longhorns.
It really was. Everything is running. So let's go into Jacob Eason. Let's go into Eason.
Love to.
You said in when we were in our pre-show, you said that Eason will probably have the best career out of any quarterbacks drafted this season.
Yes. So let me elaborate on that. Now, I'm not talking about rookie season, second season. I'm talking the next 15 years of his career. He will have the best career over Tua, over Joe Burrow, over whoever else got drafted this year. Jordan Love. Well, actually, Jordan Love and Jacob Eason might have similar looking careers, but I'm going to give the nod to Jacob Eason simply because of the fact of two things here. He gets to sit on the bench like Patrick Mahomes did his first year in the NFL, learn from a very talented, just a all-around good person in Phillip. Phillip is he's 35 or 36 years old, going, 15, 16 years into the league. He knows how to prepare. He knows how to make a lot of kids when losing to the Patriots and the playoffs. So Indianapolis Colts fans, be prepared to go to Jacob Eason's high schools and, buy into their stock because they're going to have a lot of kids over there. But I digress on that. But Jacob Eason has the arm strength, has the talent, and has the football knowledge, and get a chance to learn behind a player like Phillip Rivers for maybe 2 years. The sky is the limit for this kid, and the Colts know it.
No, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't think he's going to have the better career. I don't think he's going to have a better career than Burrow. I don't.
Well, I think let's determine what is a better career. Are we talking about overall stats?
50, no, I'm talking about Super Bowl
55,000 yards, Super Bowls, yada yada yada. If a Super Bowl, Jacob Easton's team right now can win a lot more Super Bowls than the Cincinnati Bengals can.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think the Bengals still have another 3 or 4 years before they're going to be Super Bowl contenders.
And then at that point, Joe Burrow is going to get the Andy Dalton treatment and get traded out of town.
No way. They're going to build that team around Joe Burrow.
I would concur with that if they're in a must-win now type of situation. But are they going to tank for the next 3 years and try to build the team like the Cleveland Browns did, and they're still horrible when they have all this freaking talent?
No, I don't think they tank. I think they go out and they play to win games. But every team has a first-round draft pick. You know what I mean?
Everybody but the Colts this season, right?
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, but the Colts.
So going back to Jacob Eason, I truly believe in my heart that I thought this kid was going to go first round. When the Packers drafted Jordan Love, 23rd or 22nd in the draft, and the Patriots were still in the first round, and they, I thought the Patriots were going to get drafted. Were going to draft a Jordan Love or Jacob Eason, and when Jordan Love got drafted, I thought Jacob Eason was next off the board going to the Patriots because I had that much faith in his talent and his college days.
No, I mean I think Eason's he passes the eye test. You know what I mean? He's definitely think he's going to have a great career, and he gets to sit with behind Phillip Rivers and actually learn how to be a pro, which will that's gonna help him tremendously. But we'll see. I do think he's gonna have a great career, but I don't think he's gonna have a better career than I don't think he's gonna have a better career than Joe Burrow.
Let me give you some stats real quick here. Okay. Jacob Eason's right around 6'6". You know who else is 6'6"? Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Jacob Eason runs a 4.9 40. You know who else runs a 4.9 40-ish?
Who?
Peyton Manning. Look for Jacob Easton to be Peyton Manning-esque.
I don't know.
With a little bit more athletic ability.
I don't know. I don't think we'll see another quarterback like Peyton Manning. I mean, he was amazing.
I'm not saying he is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time like Peyton Manning is, by any means. But what they did in this draft, they got a wide receiver to pick up and learn from T.Y. Hilton. They got a quarterback to pick up and learn from Philip Rivers. This Colts team is built to win for the next 6 or 7 years easily. And you have to look at they drafted old linemen to protect their butts too. So
yeah,
I mean, the Colts are ready.
No, yeah, for sure.
So, Mike, let's go ahead and take a quick little break here. And once we get back from the break, we are going to, jump in and start breaking down the Indianapolis Colts schedule here.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Just for Clicks here. Me, Mike Buckheiser. I'm with Mike LeBaugh, my co-host, my brother from another mother. And Mike, it is that time of night that we are going to break down the 2020 Indianapolis Colts. We've already gone over their picks a little bit, their future and like what it holds. So let's go ahead and jump into the 2020 season. First game is they have on September 13th. They travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Who do you got in that one?
I've been thinking about this game all weekend because when we left off on Thursday night, we were talking about going over the Colts schedule. And I briefly looked at the schedule, and this first game I've been thinking about all weekend long about who's going to win this game. And, I think the Colts hand the Eagles the first loss on the opening game of the season.
So you had the Indianapolis Colts starting 1-0, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars week 1.
Wait. Thought they played the Eagles week 1. Am I missing something? Or is that preseason?
It might be preseason.
Oh, it is preseason. Oh, I looked at it wrong. Oh, no. All right.
He was the new guy over here.
Yeah, no, right? New guy, noob. Yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, Colts all day long. The Jaguars don't stand a chance.
I agree with you. The Jaguars don't stand a chance, but the problem is this is opening day. Every team has championship aspirations. Every team's going to walk out with their head held high. Gardner Minshew, or I think it's Gardner, first name's Gardner, or Garrett Minshew. Minshew, with the Minshew porn mustache and the short shorts, he is going to lead the Jacksonville Jaguars to week 1 number win.
Oh, no.
Start 0-1.
No way.
But however, if this was later in the year, that's going to get ugly. Moving on to week 2, Colts are at home taking on the Vikings. Who you got?
Man, Kirk Cousins against Philip Rivers. I'm gonna take Philip Rivers in this game.
Starting off 2-0 on the season.
I've got the Colts winning this game.
Yeah, I have the Colts winning as well. I don't think the Colts are going to lose a home game this season. Something about playing in Indy, and especially their first game with Philip Rivers at the helm. They got their their picks. That place is going to be so amped, so fired up. Give me the Colts all day, especially opening day for them. Next week they are back at home again, playing the New York Football Jets. Who do you got?
I don't see them losing at home either. I've got the Colts in this game, but I do think that Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell are going to really test this defense that week. It's definitely going to be where the Colts have to establish dominance in that game early, and they're going to have to figure out how to stop that 1-2 punch with Gore and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, it's funny that you say a 1-2 punch because I don't think Gore is going to be on there much on the field very, very much for the New York Jets. I think he's well over his prime. He'll give you 2 punches in a game and then be gassing for air over on the sidelines, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
no, I think Gore is going to be that. He's going to be your third down back, and he's going to be your red zone third down back. Le'Veon Bell is going to carry the most of the load. You're going to see Frank Gore come in when Le'Veon Bell needs a break, or Le'Veon Bell, rips off a 20, 30-yard run. Then, that's when you'll see Frank Gore come in. But you can, just because he's not in his prime, you cannot overlook Frank Gore, because he will gas you.
And there is a reason why he's been in the league for 16 years going on, or 15 years going on the 16th year. But give me the Colts at home. Next up, October 4th game, travel to travel to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Who do you got?
I've got the Colts losing their first game. I think the Colts are looking at this one, and they're overlooking this game, and I think they're going to be overlooking the next game onto the Bengals. I think this is going to be one of their trap games this season. I've got the Bears winning in Soldier Field.
Yeah, this is a trap game 100% because you don't know what the Chicago Bears are going to bring to the table. Are they starting Nick Foles? Are they starting Mitchell Trubisky? Are they bringing Cam Newton? Are they going to trade for Aaron Rodgers before the year starts? We don't know what is going to go on with the Chicago Bears by any means.
Bold statement. Trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, they have the room. They have the people that the Packers need, a.k.a. wide receivers. I mean, it could be a match made in heaven, but if the Packers traded the Bears in a interdivision trade, they're asking for trouble. They're asking to get beat every year by the Chicago Bears moving forward. But I'm going to pick the Chicago Bears here. It's just something about Soldier Field, and it's just something about Soldier Field. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is, but the Colts are good.
It's kind of like Lambeau Stadium, right?
Yeah,
it's just got that Lambeau magic, that Soldier Field magic.
I mean, the Bears started the NFL this will be their 101st season in the NFL. I mean, there's just history there.
Yeah.
So granted, they didn't. Yes, I know they didn't play at Soldier Field all 100 years, but whatever. Moving on here. Next week, October 11th, on the road still, traveling to the Cleveland Browns. Who do you got?
I think the Cleveland Browns are going to shock a lot of people this season. I think a lot of people are looking at them to be have another shitty year. But I think the Browns are going to do I think they're going to do pretty well, and they're going to compete for that division. I've got the Browns winning this game.
So you had the Colts starting 3-2 on the season, losing to the Browns in week number 5 here. I agree with you. I think the Browns are going to shock a lot of people. I just don't think they're going to shock the Colts because the Colts are coming off that loss versus the Bears, and they're going to be kind of angry. Phillip Rivers is just going to be like, look, put the team on my back. Let's go to the promised land. And Cleveland they find new ways to lose every year.
They do. I think this year though, I think this year is going to be a turning point. I really can't wait to break down the Browns. But I think it's going to be a turning year, and I still think they beat the Colts here. What's up, Terry?
How's it? Let me go ahead and pull up the comments. My bad. Hey Terry, how's it going? Jameson, what is up, guys? And so yeah, guys. So if you guys are interested in commenting below, join the chat, guys. We are always looking at the chat. I am now that I have it pulled up here. But moving on to week number 6, they're back at home, taking on Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Man, I've got the Colts winning this game. I think that defense is going to give Joe Burrow fits, and it is a welcome to the NFL, son.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think the Colts are going to lose a home game this season, given the 4th win on the season over the Bengals. And teams that find new ways to lose, like the Browns, like we just talked about, and Terry says the Browns are hot garbage. They have been in past. They're going to be a little bit less hot garbage this year. But the Bengals are going to find a way to lose this game. Like Joe Burrow might throw a late game interception to Julian Blackmon. You're talking about game changers. Blackmon picks the ball off to end the game for the Colts. So it is going to be a close game, but the Colts come out on top. and we both have them going 4-2 going into the bye week here. Then we're on to next game at the Detroit Lions. Who do you got?
I've got the Colts winning this game. I don't think the Lions. You say they're going to win the division. I don't think they are. I think they've still got some growing up to do, some little building. I know they have Matthew Stafford, but I don't think they get it done this year. I have the Colts beating the Detroit Lions and beating them soundly.
And you are 100% correct. I do have the Detroit Lions winning that division if Matthew Stafford's still on the team. I'm starting to hear and read rumors that they might be looking to trade Matthew Stafford here in the upcoming months. If they do that, the Lions are officially in rebuild mode, and they will lose that division. So I'm picking this game as if they had Matthew Stafford on the field. With that being said, the Lions are going to win this game. You know what I said about the Bears and like the Bears Stadium and Lambeau Stadium? It's just something about that field that just makes teams play bad. When I went there last year to watch the Chiefs and Lions play, something about that stadium just makes teams play bad. I don't know if it was a trap game for the Chiefs last year or what, but the Lions fans are rowdy. They are rowdy, and they're going to be rowdy to the Indianapolis Colts team, giving them their third loss on the season. I had them going 4-3, and you had them 5-2, going into Week 9 back at home, take on the Baltimore Ravens.
So I know you said that the Colts will not lose a game at home. This will be their first home loss. Ooh. The Ravens are going to come to town, and they are going to handle the Indianapolis Colts.
When you say handle, you're talking like 15-point or 14-point game type thing?
Yeah.
Just a game where the Colts just don't show up and just –
they just don't have an answer for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I'm on the flip side of that coin. I think the Colts handle the Ravens. The Ravens forget to show up. This is a trap game for the Baltimore Ravens going into Indy. You know, what is this? We're at Week 9 in the season, kind of at the halfway point, kind of like we're just kind of. This is a game where the Ravens forget to show up. It is a early kickoff game, a 1:00 kickoff game. It is going to be good for the Colts all the way around. Moving on to the next week, they play a Thursday night game, so a short week on the road, taking on the Tennessee Titans at Nashville. Who do you got?
Short week on the road. I've got the Tennessee Titans winning this game. Remember, like I told you with the Jets, they're going to have trouble with Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. I think Michael, he must be talking about you. I think Derrick Henry is going to give that front seven fits, and I have the Titans winning this game, especially on a short week.
Yeah. If you guys have listened to the show at all, I am all about stats. Teams that travel to the west or from the West Coast to the East Coast playing that 1:00 kickoff game lose 80% of the time. Well, guess what? Teams that play on Sunday night game, travel on the Thursday night game, lose 75% of the time. Give me the Titans in this one. And it just this game is going to be so ugly. It is going to be hard to watch. This game could last 95 minutes and be over.
Yeah, it's going to be a boring game. It's going to be I think the Titans are going to have their way with them.
If you like ground and pound from like the 1960s, this is a game to watch 100%.
Yep.
Moving on to the next week, they're back at home taking on the Green Bay Packers.
I've got the Colts winning this game. I think that secondary is going to be too tough for Aaron Rodgers, and I think Julian Blackmon's going to give Aaron Rodgers fits. He's going to pick him off twice.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to do okay. I mean, they're going to lose that division, and they are going to lose this game versus the Colts. The Colts are tough at home. I still have them undefeated at home, and there is a reason why, because it is a tough place to play in Indianapolis, my home state here in Indiana. It is hard to play. Moving on to the next week, this is one thing I hate about the NFL. They play these back-to-back games, right? So they just played the Tennessee Titans. Then they're back home, take on the Packers, and then they are back at home again, take on the Tennessee Titans. So they play the Tennessee Titans twice in less than 2 weeks.
I like this. I like this back-to-back like this. Because you know what? The Colts are going to go to Tennessee and they're going to get their ass kicked. They're going to remember that. And they have only got a week. You know what I mean? That's going to still be fresh in their mind. And they're going to come back. The Tennessee Titans are going to roll into town, and the Colts are going to get revenge. And this is a game where you really see what the Colts can do, and they really handle the Tennessee Titans. And they shut Henry down. He rushes 70, 80 yards at most.
Yeah, so you have them 7-4 going into December. Not a bad record, but definitely not a 13-3 pace by any means. But let me tell you something. I hate these back-to-back games because of the fact that I just watched the Tennessee Colts game, and it was so freaking ugly that like the game got over in 95 minutes. I was in bed by 10:30 at night, snuggled alone, and usually it's just halftime. But this is a game and everything turns around. Phillip Rivers goes off on the Tennessee Titans. 4 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton has 2. Their other receiver that they drafted, Michael Pittman Jr., he goes off. He gets maybe 3 touchdowns. That the Tennessee Titans try to slow down the game, but it just doesn't work. The Colts win this game, and they win it bad, giving them another win on the season. So we both have them going 7-4 going into December. Very critical part of the season. So first game of December 6th, they're traveled to Texas to take on the Texans. Who do you got?
I don't have the Colts losing a game the rest of the season. They're going to the Texans, and I think they handle the Texans at home. And this is another back-to-back game.
Yeah. Another dumb back-to-back game. They have 31 other NFL teams that they could play, but whatever. I have the Colts beating the Texans as well. The Colts are hot right now, and perfect time to get hot. It is hard to derail a team that it is very momentum-oriented, riding high. Phillip Rivers, T.Y. Hilton have this connection happening. Pittman Jr. is starting to come on hot. Mack is just running the ball like a beast. This game's a 35-20 type of score. Moving on to the next week, they're on the road again, traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Yeah, I think they go in, and I think the Raiders are in just total shambles by this time in the season. They don't know what the hell they want to do. I honestly think John Gruden is done after this season. But maybe not. Maybe not. I think he is. I don't think he's the coach everybody thinks he is. But I have the Colts winning this game. Easy.
Let me add to your point there. There is a reason why he got fired from Oakland Raiders the first time around. There is a reason why he was no longer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after they won the Super Bowl. There was a reason why he was a broadcaster for 5 years or whatever he was. I mean, he was a darn good old school coach. Old school methods don't work in this new age offenses that you have, the age of Twitter, etc. It just, and I think you're right. If John Gruden doesn't go at least 8-8 this year, they're going to eat that $100 million contract and just wipe away the season. With that being said, I think the Colts lose this game. This is one of those trap games. They are riding high. They are looking forward to playing Houston again the next week after dominating them, and you see a 3-10 record on the Oakland or the Las Vegas side, and just what, screw these guys. This is a trap game, and I have them losing, giving them the 5th loss on the season.
I don't know. I think in December, going into December, the Colts just kind of click, and everything is working for them, and it continues into the playoffs.
Yeah, the month of December, the teams that don't lose usually do very, very well, obviously. And let me just add to the Raiders here. They're either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. There's going to be no 8-8 record for the Las Vegas Raiders whatsoever. They'll be 3-13 or 3-3 or 13-3 or 3-13, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and move on to the Houston Texas game. This is a to be announced time, so it could be a prime time game depending on how the records line up. But they are at home, take on the Texans. Who do you got?
I've got the Colts. I don't think I think the Texans win maybe 5 games this season.
Ooh. That is a bold statement because
man, you got rid of your number one receiver. You got rid of your playmaker. Watson. That's great. He's good for those 4 or 5 games, and that's about it.
Yeah, but you're right. The Colts they're upset that they got beat by the Raiders the previous week. They're upset. You don't want to upset a team that is playing at the guy like the Colts are. Previously, before the Raiders game, they lay it to Houston Texans again. Moving on to the final game in December, they traveled to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Who do you got?
I think they beat Steelers in Heinz Field.
Ooh. And I don't think they do.
I don't think Roethlisberger is playing this season.
I think he is. I think he has something to prove a tad bit here. He wants to end his glorious career on a high note, a Super Bowl win, kind of like the Bucs did, kind of like the Last Dance or like the Last Ride or whatever they called it. In the NFL, it is hard to travel, especially when you're a dome team traveling to a cold weather field. It is going to be miserable in Pittsburgh the last weekend of December. It could possibly be snowing. It could be raining. Either way, the wind coming off the rivers in that city, it is going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. Colts lose this game. Steelers win. Giving us the final game of the year. First verse, same as the second verse. Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Who do you got?
Oh, that's an easy one, man. I still don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are anything this season. Colts go into Jacksonville and handle them soundly. And I agree with Jameson. Roethlisberger's done.
He is done as retirement. Doesn't even play this year. I think you guys are full of BS. But I agree with you on this last pick of the season. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-14 or 2-13 at this point, giving them the 14th loss of the season. The number 1 overall pick getting Trevor Lawrence in the next year's draft. That puts me at the Colts at 10-6, and you at them at 12-4.
I do. I have the Colts at 12-4.
I don't have the Colts history up in front of me by any means, but I feel like every time they have a successful season like this, 12-4, 13-3, they lose in the first round of the playoffs 9 times out of 10. It almost seems like
they do. And I think they get past the first round, and the second round they're playing either the Chiefs or they're going to play the Ravens, and the Chiefs or the Ravens will beat them.
So after a 12-4 season, a first round playoff loss, like again.
No, I think they'll get a first round playoff win, but they'll lose in the second round.
Okay, yeah, like I haven't broke down the rest of the schedule or the rest of the division by any means. So I think a 10-6 record is probably good enough to win that division because they do have Houston, the Titans, and the Jaguars. I think the Titans are the only team that could possibly threaten their division championship this year.
Yep, 100%. That's the only team in that division that's going to be that's where the division is. It's between the Colts and it's between the Titans.
And
so those are the games that I've circled on my calendar. They split the series with Tennessee. In order to win that division, in my opinion, the Colts are going to have to sweep the Titans to win that division.
And I think either way they split, no matter how they split, it is going to come down to that Houston Texas game. Can the Tennessee Titans sweep the Houston Texans like the Colts are going to sweep them? Like that's what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah, I think one of those Titans, one of those 4 or 5 games that the Texans win, I do see them winning against the Titans.
So before we head into the closing thoughts for today, you said you circled the Tennessee Titans game. Is there any game that you circle, be like, hey, you know what, possible playoff matchup? I'm looking at Baltimore Ravens come to mind real fast here.
Yep.
Do you think that the Colts have any shot of beating the Baltimore Ravens in the regular season? And if they do they beat them in the playoffs?
I think they do. It's in any given Sunday. You know what I mean? So I do think that they have a shot at beating the Baltimore Ravens, but they're going to have to show up. And Rivers is going to have to play a near perfect game for them to win because they're going to have to score points. Because we already know the Ravens, they can score points at will with Lamar Jackson.
So you're telling me that the Colts have to play an A+ game to beat the Ravens, and the Ravens have to play a B or C game?
Yep.
So Ravens just don't show up basically and kind of like walk through, give you a vanilla defense, vanilla offense type of thing for the Colts to win type of thing. You know, I'm really looking at this. We're looking at break point marks in the season. Their bye week is week 7. It's a little early for my likings, but coming off that bye week, traveling to Detroit, I had them losing that game. And then looking at their schedule moving forward, Baltimore, Tennessee, Green Bay, Tennessee, Houston, they have a very good possibility of going 0-4, 0-5 through that stretch if they lose to the Detroit Lions, like I think they will. I mean, this is a slippery slope for them entering the month of November into December. I mean,
yeah,
you're playing 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 playoff teams in the month of November.
Yeah, you're playing the Ravens. We know they're a playoff team. The Titans, they are a playoff team. The Packers, Packers are a wild card. And then the Texans aren't a playoff team.
I was referring to the Lions because that will be division championships going into.
No, the Lions are. I don't think the Lions are a playoff team. Not yet.
So what makes the Lions a playoff team? Do they need a quarterback?
They need a better defense, in my opinion, and I think they need to surround Matthew Stafford with a couple more weapons.
Colts Win, not sold on the Titans. That's coming from the chat over there in Jameson. I do have to agree with him a little bit. I'm not sold on the Titans whatsoever. I think they got lucky last year. I mean, as most playoff teams and most Super Bowl teams, usually get lucky or get hot at the right time. And just this year, the Titans don't get as hot. And if they make the playoffs, it's a first round loss to the Ravens. That they get the revenge type thing here. But let's go ahead and shift gears here and jump into our new segment here in closing. And I do not have the little banter thing anymore, so we'll go ahead and just go with it, Mike. Sound good?
Sounds good to me, brother.
All right, guys. So in closing here, I have been a USC fan for, since 2007 to 2008 when it really started to ramp up. You had Rampage Jackson howling at the moon with a big old chain on and stuff like that. The reason why I liked UFC so much back in 2007, 2008 was the simple fact that I got to hang out with my friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. We would go there 3 or 4 hours early before the fights started, get some beer, get some food. Like once every 4 or 5 weeks, we would go there and really enjoy it. We would watch The Ultimate Fighter on Spike TV, have a great time. But then we started getting too much UFC. I think what we had fights every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks even. It got to the point where we didn't know any of the fighters, and it started to get watered down. Well, this past week, last Saturday, UFC came back into my life. Mike was a big adamant of saying, "Hey, this is live sports. This is going to be awesome." I had to tune into the prelims. I'm not going to lie, I did not buy the pay-per-view whatsoever, but I watched the prelims. I got drawn back into the UFC life, but then they had 3 main events less than 8 days, and I didn't know anybody on there. So I'm asking UFC, as a fan, as a broke dad, please make UFC great again. Move the pay-per-views back to once every 6 weeks again. Build that hype. Build that hype like you once had. Get that buzz. Just make UFC great again. That's all I ask.